nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
Ash seeks embers. Still to this day, my favorite quote of Dark Souls. There is a ton of Dark Souls videos, but if you're here, I assume you're like me, you just can't get enough Dark Souls content. But I want to emphasize this point. For a game that was first released 15 years ago, how crazy it is that people are still talking about it. People are still playing it, and it doesn't take long to still find people to play with. Honestly, this just blows my mind. Some games, they just come and go and the player base just disappears within a few years or even just months, but not Dark Souls. And in this video, I will try to explain why I think this game is still so popular and so relevant. And when I say I was a noob, I am not lying. You wouldn't believe the mistakes and dumb stuff I did when I first picked it up. Some of them I'm sure you can relate, maybe you also did, but others, I don't know, I will show you, I guess. Okay. Oh, I want to Good question. So, this and that. They almost killed me. Why? This is going to be a long one, but more like medium range. I don't know, I'm just gonna try my best to make it not too long, but just get comfortable. A topic such as this requires a long one, I think. At least for me, I love Dark Souls. I'll break down this video into 5 parts. Recollecting the first few hours and what truly pulled me in despite being convinced the game was not for me. My experience with the gameplay and how the odds were not in my favor. What kept me so invested despite sucking at it. How Dark Souls can be so addictive in a good way that I was pretty much in withdrawal and scared to go on a vacation without my PC. A little bit of discussion on the lore and the deeper meaning of the game, but it's gonna be a short version. I feel like this deserves its own video and you can watch a ton of videos. I just want to share my theories and how it resonated with me and changed my life pretty much. I'm very happy to make this video, so I hope you find some value in it and I hope you enjoy. Anyway, let's do this. My Dark Souls experience. Let's go back to the beginning of time. I was 7. I was lucky enough to play Zelda, the OG games. It was hard and cryptic. Okay, too far, nobody cares. Fast forward, I didn't have much time for gaming anymore, but Steam sales. So of course I bought a ton of games that I thought I would never play, but everyone does this, right? And among those, Cyberpunk 2077. Oh, and Dark Souls. This really hard game that I for sure will never play. I don't wanna, lose my mind and go over spoilers. But it's on sale, it's a great deal, so I might as well buy the entire trilogy. I knew this game. I knew its reputation, but I also knew it was supposed to be one of the greatest games of all time. But it was also supposed to be very hard, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy it, but play it in my retirement home, something like that. Long story short, I tried Cyberpunk, but got kind of bored. And so, one lonely night, I decided to try something else before going to sleep. And that's when my life changed, for the better. Bear in mind, I just wanted to have a laugh, play the game, realize it was totally out of my league, rage quit, forget about it, never open it again. So I launched it and, well, obsessed with it. look at this intro.
With the strength of lords, they challenge the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stones.
I was mesmerized, so hyped. I always loved dark fantasy, but I hadn't played one since Dark Souls. Dragon Age Origins, oh my god. But just watching the intro and this beautiful narration, I was already captivated. So after spending 1 hour making an ugly-looking female character, I found myself in a prison looking like this. Okay, thanks. But wow, so cool at the same time. And who's this guy? I bet he's gonna be a big part of the story, a huge mystery. I hope we meet up again at the end and get a big reveal. Oh no, he's dead.
I'm done for, I'm afraid.
But I just loved the intro, the tutorial. I don't know why, but a prison setting is so cool to me in a video game. Starting in this dark, empty cell after this epic intro is kind of unexpected. You get this sense of despair and mystery right away, but it's balanced and quickly replaced by hope and excitement once you get freed by Oscar. And I feel like this really gets you invested right away. It did it for me. No additional cutscenes, dialogue, or mindless quests and exploration. No crazy landscape, just your ugly self in a cell, in the dark. And you get to play right away, with no explanation or hand-holding. After my experience with Cyberpunk, which is a good game by the way, but at that point in time, a game like Dark Souls is what I needed. Immersive, mysterious, and allowing us to jump right into the action without wasting more time. And here's the thing, I love horror games. Horror is my favorite genre of all time, and so I loved the creepy setting and the atmosphere right away. But hey, wait, this is Dark Souls, you have to be careful. I was ready to die at any moment, rage quit, and never play again. So of course I avoided the lava on the floor. What lava? Yes, this is the noob mistake number 1. You see this orange-red stuff on the floor in a prison? I avoided it. I won't tell you how long it took me to realize it was not lava and it was actually the controls and tutorial. I went in blind. I knew Dark Souls was kind of cryptic and not beginner friendly, so I was not surprised to have 0 tutorials and have to figure out all the controls on my own. But I made it a little harder for me, I think. But don't blame me, look at this. This is Dark Souls. I was in Dark Souls mode, I was scared. I saw this and I thought it was lava. But anyway, demon! Of course, I didn't see the door and died. Then I tried again. I used all my black fire bombs. Yes, I missed a lot, but I got a crazy weapon. But there was this weird cross and I couldn't use it properly. The game told me I could not wield this weapon, but I could use it, so I wasn't sure why the game said I could not use it. Oh, I can use it, it's just pathetic and I don't do any damage, okay. So anyway, I left the asylum and that played.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen.
I was in love. At that point, I had forgotten that this game was supposed to be hard and I was supposed to go to bed. I was very, very much into it. I loved it already. Almost like love at first sight. I don't know, sometimes you just know, you don't need much, you just feel it inside you. And that's exactly how I felt. Especially the setting, starting in Firelink, with the music, the atmosphere. The game looked so beautiful, intriguing, mysterious. I knew I would never finish this game, but I wanted to. Already I loved the pacing, from the asylum to this beautiful area, and getting a little bit of lore from this NPC. And right away I loved the way they convey the story. It's not 5 cutscenes, just an NPC you can talk to, and it doesn't tell you even that much, just enough to keep you interested, but give you also a direction and a purpose. But anyway, after a few hours of trying to wield this monstrous weapon and dying to the skeletons, I understood what people meant when they said that it was kind of crazy and deep to justify the gameplay and mechanics of the game with the lore, and I was so impressed. I mean, what game justifies dying and respawning, making it a huge part of the story? I thought it was so cool. I went back to the skeletons and died anyway, again and again. At that point, I felt bad. I knew I was terrible. I knew I was a noob. But not that terrible, and I kept dying. I couldn't do anything. I felt bad, ready to quit. Obviously, the game was not for me, and that is okay. I was a noob after all. But I was still obsessed with it. I wanted to see more. If I could not play, I might as well watch people play it. So I found a stream, ready to just feel humiliated seeing how they would go through that entire area so fast and easily. But they didn't even bother with the skeletons. There was an entire area that I had missed. I think we all make that mistake. I think it's on purpose. But I quit the stream, I went back into the game, and I went through the burg. And I spent 30 hours there. I love that place. That's not why I spent so much time there. Obviously, I just kept dying, and then I ended up grinding without even wanting to do that. But I really like that place. I think a lot of people do. And it taught me something very important about the game. If you get stuck, think about it and look around you. Maybe there is another way, another solution, another strategy. And I think that's the genius of this game. It teaches you how to get through something without teaching you anything, and I love it. At that point, the game was still a mystery, and by that I mean the controls and the system and the stats, but I wanted to get good. I enjoyed the burg, but I was pretty much stuck in the burg. I kept dying, but it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like the game was just way too hard and poorly designed. It felt like I just did not even understand the gameplay. My strategy was not good, but I couldn't figure out how to get through those enemies, especially the ones with the shields. So after 30 hours of trial and error that really didn't amount to much for me, I gave in and just decided to watch a combat tutorial video. I wasn't even trying to get good at that point, just understand the controls and how things work in this game. And the first thing they said was this.
If you are a PC player, it's highly recommended to play using a gamepad or controller, not mouse and keyboard. During this guide, for ease of reference, I'll be using the button names first for an Xbox 360 controller and then a PlayStation gamepad.
I had spent 30 hours playing with mouse and keyboard. Yeah, I had no idea it was designed for a controller. I felt so embarrassed. I stopped playing, and I bought a controller the next day, and I remember when I was in the store I kept thinking, oh my god, now it's starting, now I'm gonna be so good, yeah, finally I will play it the right way. Yeah, it didn't change much, and it took some time to get used to it. At first I really liked mouse and keyboard more, but then, I got used to it, and at least now I could understand the video about the combat. And I was also ashamed to learn after 30 hours or more that you can die and keep your items. You lose your souls, but not your items. I didn't know that. So I went back and I picked up my favorite, my best friend, my love in this game, Zweihander. And that's pretty much how it started. After 30 hours, I was sold. I was ready to try to beat the Taurus demon, not with the fire bombs, but with the jump attacks, and it didn't matter to me even if it was after 10 attempts and with a very cheesy jump attack. The dopamine rush you get, the climax, the excitement, I didn't remember feeling something like that in a game, at least not in the first 40 hours of a game. Maybe when you finish it or something, but not at the very start. And at that point I was too far gone. This was my new obsession. And this is the end of part 1. This part was by far the longest one, but part 2, 3 and 4 are gonna be way shorter. My experience, my noob experience with the gameplay. So I knew it was hard, but dying to the skeletons again and again kinda got me feeling insecure. But that was my mistake. I was still playing the game like a hack and slash game. No rolling, no dodging, no shield, not paying attention to the stamina. Sure, you can figure that out on your own, you don't need a guide, but hey, noob here, I told you. So I had no idea how the game worked. And to be honest, I was really not used to this kind of gameplay. And due to me missing the messages on the floor that I thought were lava, I had no idea you could roll and jump and run and like have a strong attack and normal attack and parry and block with shields, and I figured that out as I was playing, especially against the skeletons, but it kept me dying even more and got me a little, I don't know, hollow. But after I figured out the controls and basic combat system, thanks to the tutorial video, I started to really enjoy the combat. It was nothing like I had played before, and I really liked it. If you've played it, which I assume you have, I don't need to explain it to you, but I just really loved it. You are never bored, you're always on edge, especially the beginning. You cannot get too comfortable, you have to strategize, look at the animations, get better weapons, try them, learn the moveset and the enemies. It felt like a mix of skills, reflexes, strategy and training. Sure, I was still not good, but at least I finally understood it, and so I could enjoy it and try to get better. Because that's the thing, if you're not used to Souls-like games, which I was really not, the gameplay is a little bit different. It's not like every action RPG, and so I was not used to it. But I can say with confidence that it is my favorite kind of combat system now. But I have to confess, even after 300 hours, I still don't know how to consistently jump and kick. But we have to talk about the system, like stats and equipment. Let's play a short clip from this amazing video.
Speaking of overwhelming numbers, let's take a look at the sword itself. What am I looking at here? Is 80 good? I mean, these are probably damage types, but what the hell are these two? Maybe if I press toggle again. Oh, good, even more numbers. At least here we can see what the symbols meant, but now we've got more questions. Like, what do param bonuses do? What are rec params? What are these numbers? What are these symbols now? And why are some of them 0 and others a dash?
I was one of these people. Stats, weapons, humanities, I didn't even bother looking it up, I just gave up on the entire thing. And yeah, it took me maybe 60 hours to finally let go of the NOOB shield, which I learned later it's a trap, and I can confirm it's a NOOB trap. But do you know why we keep it on for so long? It is not just because it looks cool, it is because of this stat, at least for me. This. I believed it was how good the shield was. So yes, even though I was crazy lucky and I did get the Black Knight shield, for the longest time I kept dismissing it. I kept thinking, well, how is that a good shield? Look at this. This Knight shield has more thing here. It took me an embarrassingly long time to finally realize this was the attack. But why do you even need an attack for a shield? That's why I didn't even bother looking at it in details. I just thought it was a defense. So I went back and I finally decided to watch a video to understand every stats. I don't even think that I knew you could press a button to display more informations, like the detailed stats, individual stats, and also the description. Better late than never. So at that point, when I was not playing, I was looking at videos, and little by little I understood everything. Not everything, but at least I knew that the shield sucked and that I had to look at stability. And then I tried to understand poise and all of that. I mostly understood some of it, but not really, but at least I had a good build and my character wasn't bad. Actually, I died so much, and because I was so obsessed with my souls and I kept trying to get them back, sometimes losing them, but sometimes getting them, my character became OP really fast. Way too fast. I was playing offline at that point, biggest mistake. Again, I think it's a noob mistake. You should always play online. Not only is it fun, but it gives you life-saving advices. But playing offline, not knowing anything about the multiplayer stuff, I pretty much kissed co-op goodbye because I was overleveled, and that was not good, but I didn't use it that much. And obviously, spending most of the time as an undead, I missed a lot of summon signs, but at least I got it for the gargoyles and the gaping dragon, most important fight. I did it for Lautrec. I really like Lautrec. Don't ask questions. But yeah, my point is, after 100 hours and a few YouTube videos, the menu had almost no mystery to me. Almost. I knew the controls, I rolled, I upgraded the right stat for my build, and I graduated from a newbie to something. Just so you know, I finished the game. I got better. Am I good? Who knows? But yeah, I finished Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3 and even the DLC. I mean, not Gale yet, but I'm getting there. Dark Souls 2? It's a work in progress, but I will finish it, for sure. So that's it for part 2. So part 3 is why I kept going despite sucking. Why I even bothered watching tutorials and videos and obsessing over it. I could just, give up and say, oh, this game is not for me, it's too hard, or it's boring, I don't like it, it's too different. But no, for me, the gameplay was obviously a big reason, but not the first reason. At that point, after leaving the asylum, I still didn't know how the game worked. I didn't enjoy the gameplay yet. What kept me going was just the atmosphere, the lore, the horror elements, but the beauty of it all. The mystery, wanting to learn more, being so immersed and wanting to explore this beautiful yet very creepy world. Everyone talks about the you know what I'm talking about, of the game, how the map is designed and how everything connects. And it is one of the reasons why it is still, I think, my favorite game of the trilogy. It's so well made, so well designed, it doesn't feel like you are wasting your time. Exploring is so rewarding. We all experienced the joy and wonder of finding a shortcut or a hidden bonfire. And I know the NPCs don't take too much space and the quest lines are a little convoluted and obscure, but it actually reminded me of old school games. Remember the old Zelda games that I mentioned? The quest lines back then were as cryptic, if not even more cryptic, and it was crazy to figure it out on your own. I mean, I know I didn't. How would I expect that I was supposed to give a letter to an NPC that was stuck on a toilet so that they could use it as, like to wipe, and then they would give you something stinky and you had to give it to a monster and they would get crazy because it smells so bad. I mean, do you remember this game? But yeah, Dark Souls felt very old school in that way, and I actually missed it. So for me, the quest lines, as weird as they are and as little info as we get, I loved it. It was part of why I kept playing, just to see how far it would go. Same thing with the lore and the story. We don't get much, but sometimes less is more, and as cliché as it is, I think that's the strength of Dark Souls' story. That's why we keep talking about it and thinking about it. The storytelling is very interesting. It's something I had never seen before. I mean, I saw it in a few horror games when you just have to read the notes and stuff. But in Dark Souls, it didn't feel lazy. It felt just right. If you don't care, you can just skip through it. You don't have to dig deeper. But if you want to, there's so much content, so much theory crafting, so much left to your imagination, and so much answers as well. And I think it's the perfect balance, and that's why I really wanted to learn more and kept going, despite sucking at the game and not understanding the gameplay at that point. And again, the atmosphere of this game is just crazy, but it's very subjective. It clicked with me, it made me very emotional, and they did something that I didn't think I enjoyed, which is having no music except for a few areas and bosses. So yeah, the atmosphere, the lore, the exploration, that's what kept me going, basically. If you're still watching, thank you. We've reached part 4. I will discuss why I think Dark Souls is so addictive, but in a very good way. The progression. Yes, it's frustrating sometimes, but it teaches you that each step, even small, gets you closer to your goal. And even when you struggle, you're not really stuck, I think. The limit is you. Sense Fortress, for example, is an amazing level, but so frustrating, so punishing, so dirty, especially the first time you go through it. But here's the thing, you can skip most of it and go straight to the boss fight. Yes, you will miss some good loot, some NPCs, but you don't have to go through that torture. I mean, you have to at the beginning, but it's very short if you just skip past it. And it's kind of the same with Blighttown and Izalith. My point is, you have the ability to skip a lot of stuff. And that's what I mean when I say the limit is you, and that's because you define your own limits. And I've watched a lot of videos and interviews involving Miyazaki, and he makes that point, and I totally felt it. Two things mattered to him. One thing was the sense of accomplishment, definitely achieved that, and that's part of the addiction, this dopamine rush. And the other one is the freedom. Because there is so much freedom in Dark Souls. You can make things harder or easier for yourself. So it's all about your own limit. Is it worth exploring Sense Fortress to get better loot and complete NPC quest lines? Or do you just want to get done with it? Do you want to cheese the game with bow and arrows in certain parts? Do you want to make your life easier and use a summon? Do you want to get better loot and explore, or are you just gonna rush to the boss fight? It's up to you. And that's the thing with the difficulty in Dark Souls. There is a baby easy mode, and I'm not just talking about using sorceries. There are many ways that a noob like me can get through the game easily. I mean, of course you still have to learn and get better, but it's just up to you. Because you have so many ways to go about one thing, I feel like it makes you want to try again. You're like, okay, I'm gonna try this, then I'm gonna try that. And that's why, for me, I could not put down the controller. If it felt too restrictive and only one and only way to get through a certain area or a certain boss, I'd probably give up earlier. But because there's so much freedom and so much things that you can try, it makes you want to try them. I feel like you can challenge yourself knowing that you are in control of this challenge. There is a way to make your life easier if you want to. With summons, for example. Strategizing, this theory crafting, all of that I think make this experience very addictive. Miyazaki wanted the player to feel empowered and have this big sense of accomplishment. He and his team succeeded. The rush and excitement and the feelings you get when you finally overcome a huge obstacle, those positive emotions, I think that's what keeps us playing. We know we can always go back to this game and experience it again and again. You made it to part 5, I cannot believe it. So we'll end this video by discussing the lore and the deeper meaning of the game, a little bit. If you're here, I assume you know a lot about it. There's a lot of better and well-made videos that are already presenting the lore and deeper meanings of the game, so I'm not here to waste your time and repeat what they said, but I want to give my perspective after watching these videos and of course playing the game and thinking a lot about it. Let's start with those questions. You're probably familiar with them. Is Dark Souls a metaphor for real life? Depression? Is it about hubris? About the fear of change and the end of an era? Is it a game that teaches players coping strategies and resolve? Maybe. To answer these questions without straight up answering them because I think it's up to you, I will tell you what I really love about the story and how it changed my life. At first glance, the story is simple, classic dark fantasy. We are the chosen undead and we need to save a decaying world. But that's not it, not at all. Turns out, we were manipulated. We are not special, we're just a pawn, a sacrifice. What we do doesn't mean that much. If we don't do it, someone else will. And even if we do it, it doesn't save the world, just gives it a little bit more time. And is saving the world really what we're doing? I don't think so, and I think most players agree with that. That's why in Dark Souls 3, spoiler alert, I mean, not really, but you know why people prefer the ending with the Firekeeper. I think that's because we all came to this conclusion that what we were told to do throughout all these games was probably not the answer. But the way Dark Souls did it in a way that doesn't feel forced. It's up to the player to think about it and come to this conclusion. I mean, if you never really think about the lore or the story or talk to Karth, you don't really have any idea what's going on. You just do what you're told and you feel like what you do is right. And the only real shock and subversion is just the ending, but still you could think you did the right thing and it's a meaningful sacrifice. But I didn't feel that way. It felt meaningless. Even without looking too deep into the lore or finishing Dark Souls 3, which expands on that idea, when I linked the fire, which by the way was not my preferred ending, I actually got Karth on my first playthrough. I just wanted to light the bonfire to level up, but boom, so I was extra disappointed. But I feel like this scene is so well made that even without looking too deep into it, you kind of get this feeling, this shock and this realization that, well, what exactly did you do? And that's when you start to think about it. And depending on how deep you went, how much items and NPC you got, or how much videos you watched, you will come to a different conclusion. But what I think is interesting is that most people, I don't think they feel cheated or they feel like they wasted their time and they're just sad that they died in the end and the game was meaningless because the ending is so abrupt and you don't get a crazy cutscene or something. Seeing how you save the world and how you live happily ever after, you don't get that. And sometimes you want this payoff, but in Dark Souls, I don't think you get disappointed by this ending. I actually think this ending is the start. It's when you're kind of forced to think about the game, to think about the lore, the ending, the journey, and experience these feelings. And me personally, what I took from the game is that sometimes things are not as simple as they seem, and sometimes you have to dig deeper and think about it. And most importantly, what matters is the journey. You focus on the journey. I mean, for real, if somebody hasn't played the game and they watch the ending, honestly, it's not even that big of a spoiler. I don't think we will get that much out of it. And to me, it is also the point of Dark Souls, the journey, the progression, all these steps you took. It's not about the conclusion that lasts for, 5 seconds? I don't know. Even Dark Souls 3, with the great Firekeeper ending, what got me so emotional was the feeling that I had completed the game. It was the end of the journey, and it made me weirdly melancholic and sad, but also proud and happy. I think Dark Souls, the entire trilogy, is one of these stories that teaches you that the journey, the progression, the struggles, all of this is what matters. I think this can be a very beautiful message on life in general, but also loss. And on that point, there is also this very obvious theme of repeating a broken cycle, the madness of trying to avoid the unavoidable and causing a lot of trouble because of this. This is the theme, but what it means for you in your life and your philosophy or your perspective, your psychology, it is up to you. Especially because the game doesn't tell you, oh, linking the flame is bad, or it is good, or you should do this and that. You'll just go with the ending that feels right for you, or just for the achievements. But me personally, I accepted change. I accepted the darkness. It's what I did in Dark Souls 3, and I was extremely emotional, but I thought it was so beautiful, and the ending actually had a lot of hope. And so that's what I took from the game, the entire series, is that things are not what they seem, and sometimes fear is actually the enemy, and you are better off accepting to let go and face this new, unknown reality. And maybe you are not alone, and maybe things will not be as dark as you thought they would be. That's how I felt about the ending and the entire journey, but everyone can make their own decisions. There's no bad choices, except if you step on the Firekeeper, you monster. I also really enjoy this subversion of light and dark and all the lore around humanity and the soul. I say subversion because dark is usually related to evil, it's the bad thing. But in Dark Souls, especially by the end of Dark Souls 3, which I'm not gonna go into too much details, but there is clearly this idea that the Age of Dark and the darkness within men was not necessarily that bad. It was just what Gwyn feared. And Gwyn was the Lord of Light, so it makes sense he would fear that. But considering all his actions, I wouldn't call him a good guy. Whereas the undead and the humans, it doesn't seem like they were evil. They were just trapped and used and then later on cursed and manipulated. So I do like how the game surprises you in a way, because the darkness is not necessarily the bad thing in this universe. And there is definitely something to analyze in terms of Gwyn's motivation and the deeper theme of a greater power shackling the undead/humans and them being totally unaware that they are just being used and what they are doing is not necessarily in their best interest. And considering that originally Miyazaki wanted to call Dark Souls Dark Race, meaning the undead, at the end of the day, the game was never about Gwyn or the lords/gods. It was about humanity, about the undead and their stories. And in a way, the Age of Dark might be a good ending for the undead. We don't really know. Personally, I do think it is what was best for the undead before they were cursed and stuff anyway. And I also love how we are not the good guys in Dark Souls, especially Dark Souls 3, but even Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2. The people, or rather, the monsters and bosses that we keep fighting, not all of them are bad. They're just doing what they think is right. They're not necessarily evil, and when you look into their stories, they're actually good people. I mean, people might not be the right term, but they're not evil, most of them. Some of them, but not all of them. And the more I learned about these bosses, the more I liked them and felt very sad that I actually had to kill them. And it's also something I like about the story. It teaches us that in a way, there is always another perspective. And maybe what we do is not necessarily the right thing. It is just what we think we need to do, because it gives us purpose and, quite frankly, it is kind of fun. But the game never strictly tells us as a player what you do is good or what you do is bad. I feel like morality is not really a part of Dark Souls. At least that's how I view it. And I like a game that doesn't try to tell its player how they should feel or how they should think. And that's reflected in the gameplay and the entirety of the game. And I really like this, because the game trusts you. They know that you will end up going the right way, and if you don't, maybe you will find your own way. And freedom? Good. I think that's something Miyazaki really wanted to emphasize, and I think he succeeded in this game, definitely. So yeah, I really love the story of Dark Souls, and what I really took from it is a story about fear. Fear of losing power, fear of time, of letting go of the past and welcoming a new era. And it is a very powerful fear that a lot of people can relate to, I think. I also agree with the interpretation of hollowing. I agree that these hollows could be seen as overchosen undead that just lost hope, gave up and went mad. I do think there is something about depression there, but not necessarily depression. It can be anything about giving up and losing yourself. And it is also what kept me going. I didn't want to give up and think that my character would be this sad hollow in the haunted burg forever and that would just go crazy and start attacking other players. I know it's a little silly, but a lot of people feel that way, so I know I'm not alone. And how did Dark Souls change my life? Well, without going into details, it taught me something about myself. When I care, even failure and frustration, they won't make me quit. And I had no idea, because I am someone who gives up easily when things are hard, especially in video games. But not this time. I knew it was hard. I thought it would be even harder than it was, but believe me, it was extremely hard, and I think the difficulty in Dark Souls 1 especially is not even the combat. It's the level design, enemy placement, and how punishing and how patient you have to be. And sure, you have to get good, learn when to punish, block, roll, whatever, but you can get there. The real difficulty, again, is to be able to go through that process. And the game really taught me this. Anyone can get good. If I could get good, or at least better, you can get good. Anyone can. It's just about being willing to put the time and efforts into the game, but that requires you to enjoy the game. And even if you are not the best, even if things are not the way you wanted them to be, if you have this fire inside of you, you will make it at some point. It might not be on your own, you might need a summon, you might need a guide, you might need to be super over-leveled like I was. To me, it doesn't matter. And maybe one day you will do it on your own, you know, 0 damage, 0 death, no level up and crazy challenges maybe. I know I won't, but maybe I will go for a 0 death at some point, something like that. But yeah, that's it for me, because it's already way too long, but that's my conclusion. Yes, Dark Souls is hard and it's punishing and it's not an easy game. You cannot sleep on your controller. You have to always look out for enemies and crazy ways to die, especially if you fall down, it's gonna be frustrating and etc. And I do think that you will get even more out of the game if you are a noob, as I hope I showcased in this video as a noob myself. And that's because the feeling of getting better will be even stronger and it's going to motivate you even more to keep going. And what will, I think, keep you playing is that even once you're very good, you can always challenge yourself even more. Like I said, crazy challenges, no damage or whatever. And I do believe this is why the game is still so popular. There's always something to do, something to improve. And that makes it very fun. Imagine if we had explicit actual difficulty levels like 3, 4, 5, I don't know. People would just replay the game on all these difficulty levels and then never play it again. But with the freedom to pick your own challenge and grow at your own pace, it makes it enjoyable for everybody, from noobs like me to crazy god gamers. And that's why I love Dark Souls. Okay, I think you get it, but I really wanted to make that video. Even if there is already a ton of videos on the subject, I love when people share their stories, and I wanted to share mine, and I hope you liked it. And if you did, please subscribe, and maybe I will do more. I mean, probably one day. Yeah, one day. That's it. No. Yeah. Oh, yes. Idiot. Okay, this one is done. Come here, yeah, please. Oh, fuck you! So where is he? Oh, snap. Just what happened? That's a nice start. I don't even know what happened. Wait! Sigmire. Hey, what? No! I wasted all my arrows and stuff for you, Sigmire. So expensive. I'm gonna die, please. Talk faster.
Oh, don't you worry. The ground below me is my pillow. I'll recover.
Okay. Oh. Wow, that was worth it. Well, maybe I can do it. Enough! Where is he? Where is he? What? Well, this is awkward. You! Look at that. Yeah, I'm grabbing your head. Let's go on an adventure together. No! Oh, I must say. I'm gonna go see if Andre is still here. But, yeah, I mean, I already know he's not here. I don't hear him. Oh my god. This playthrough is done. Andre! Oh my god. I'm gonna be the new blacksmith. Yeah. Come to my shop. You want new equipment? Can carve you something. Now this is just weird. Okay. Well, I did what they said. They tricked me! Okay, I think it's time to uninstall the game and start again. This is just stupid. Oh my god. Yeah, of course.